What needs to happen to Real Madrid after being knocked out of the Champions League in the quarterfinals by Bayern Munich? So here are a few things I will discuss just to cover everything in one video, and make sure to stay till the end of the video to hear my message to the entire footballing world. Just something I'd like to quickly say about the game between Real Madrid and Bayern Munich in the Champions League. Bayern didn't dominate the game nor humble Real Madrid, just like how everyone came into Manchester City's game thinking Madrid would be easily put down. They were mistaken then and they're mistaken now. Besides the red card, Real Madrid had a better chance of qualifying to the semi-finals than Bayern Munich. And to say that Bayern deserved to go through is a big disrespect to Real Madrid. Just look at the stats. And then look at the score. Does this really look like Bayern dominated a weak Real Madrid? You need to remember, this is a team with injuries and inconsistencies in the back end of the department. A new era of players who are currently not living up to the standards set by the previous squad. So I will ask you this and just take a moment to think about it. What would Real Madrid have done to Bayern Munich, even assuming they had that red card, if we were playing at our best? Because if we're playing at our worst and still manage to put pressure on Bayern Munich with chance after chance after chance, I can't imagine what Real Madrid would have done if they were playing at their best. So now that we're knocked out of the Champions League, we're heading towards another trophyless season. There's only one opportunity left, and that's La Liga. Although the probability of us winning the league is pretty much 1%, it's not impossible. We need Barcelona to lose 3 of their next 7 games. That means Real Madrid still have to put in a fight, and in their next 7 games win all 7 and secure all the necessary points, just in case Barcelona really somehow fumble that league. But realistically, this is more about holding on to some dignity and ending the season off with less losses. Now let's assess Vinicius Jr.'s attitude. I said this in my post-match analysis after the Bayern defeat, and I'll say it again. I can't really back up Vinicius anymore, more than I have already done in the past few years. I always said beyond all that complaining and nagging in every game with the refs or the slightest issues that come his way, he still performs and still brings something to the table. But honestly, maybe I just fell blind to my own hopes for him. Vinny has not changed and is not changing in the way he plays. Every game we go into, his complaints show more than his work he does on the field. He argues more with refs than he dribbles past opponents. He argues more than he scores goals at this point. His ego has been elevated to a place where he needs to bring it back down. I don't know what's making him so confident in himself, because that confidence is just talk with no walk. No action, no results. He promised that he'd show us 10 times the player he was after getting snubbed from that Ballon d'Or win. But now we're seeing a player that's 10 times worse than what he was. Look, Vinicius is just 25 years old and is already looking like he should retire. Obviously, I'm exaggerating, but you get the idea. Even an injured Neymar could do a better job than him. Also, let's not forget the comments he made to his teammate Jude Bellingham and the way he spoke are not acceptable at all. And honestly, he needs to be spoken to. If it's not going to be coming from the manager, it's going to have to be coming from Perez directly. Florentino Perez's job is now to step in and talk to Vinicius, because he's the one keeping him at Madrid. He's the one working so hard to keep him at Madrid, to convince him to stay, to come to an agreement. But now it's his job to step in. If you go back and watch that moment and most of the moments when Vinny had the ball, honestly, I don't know what he's doing. He gets pressed by a defender, and rather than pass the ball back, release the ball back to his teammates as quick as possible, holds on to the ball and just loses it. We lose possession. Constant loss of possession. But look, I won't nitpick isolated moments. Let me get into some other adjustments or changes that are needed. Look, Kylian Mbappe and Vinicius Jr. do not work together. As much as they want to speak about each other and say, I'll help him, he'll help me, or we'll push each other, at the end of the day, this is all just talk, and we've seen it all. And we've definitely have not seen the level of work expected from both of them. They have similar play styles, they operate in similar positions, both carry big egos. It's like having a duplicate of the same card. When you're playing FIFA Ultimate Team and pack a duplicate player, you have to make a decision. Sell one and keep the other, or sell both. That way you can reinvest into areas that are actually needed, like in defense. But you cannot keep both. You cannot keep a duplicate. So this is pretty much what's happening here. It's important to remember that Mbappe is currently also the top scorer of Real Madrid, despite playing fewer games and being used out of position. He's been placed in that number 9 role, and while it hasn't worked perfectly, especially compared to players like Karim Benzema, Harry Kane, Robin Lewandowski, and other players who actually fit in that number 9 role, that shouldn't take away from what he's doing. Those who criticize Mbappe within the Madrid fan base and call it the Mbappe curse need to wake up, because the narrative is childish and ignores what he's actually contributing. Meanwhile, Vinny has been playing in his preferred position, had more time and more games than Mbappe, and still hasn't come close to matching his goal output. Even his assist numbers aren't particularly impressive. If people want to start labeling him as a playmaker, then he needs to actually make plays, make more assists, instead of losing the ball so often. Even as a playmaker, he's not doing well. His assist tally is nowhere near where it should be as a playmaker, if we were to call him a playmaker. So going back to the FIFA analogy, either Mbappe has to be sold, or Vinny has to be sold, or both. If one had to go, Vinny would honestly make more sense, based on his performance and the reoccurring issues, and he brings into the games every time. But realistically, this is more of a hope than an expectation. With Florentino Perez, we know Vinny is going to stay because obviously Perez is backing up Vinny. It's unlikely anything is going to change anytime soon, if at all. That means we'll probably see both him and Mbappe next season in the squad. Considering Vinny's contract demands, it's absurd that it's even a discussion. If a player is asking for a Cristiano Ronaldo level contract, then he needs to be putting a Cristiano Ronaldo level performance. With that being said, we'll have to wait and see what happens next season, looks like, with the duo up front, and how the club and the manager handle both of them. We saw that after the game between Real Madrid and Bayern Munich, Florentino Perez went straight to the dressing room to speak directly to the players. With the frustration, of course, in the Madrid squad, this wasn't a moment for them to lean on Perez for comfort or seek consolation. Perez even told Arda Güler to leave the locker room because he didn't want him to be involved in what was about to be said, especially considering Arda Güler's performance after scoring a brace in the quarterfinal exit. So this is what Perez had to say to the players. This is exactly what we need more. No more easygoing attitudes or constant blame placed on managers, but direct communication with the squad. Even if it has to come across as public criticism, then so be it. Perez has to do whatever it takes to wake this team up from this situation they've put themselves in, himself included. What I mean by this is simple. Instead of blaming the managers for not maximizing the players they're given, the pressure should be on the squad to step up and make a change. To say that Carlo Ancelotti, Xabi Alonso, Alvaro Arbeloa have all failed to extract excellence from this squad is a claim that shouldn't even be entertained. These are exceptional managers who have done what they could within the limitations and conditions they've been given. And speaking of managers, Xabi Alonso's departure from Real Madrid, in my view and my opinion, the biggest mistake the club has made this year. He was one of the few managers like Zinedine Zidane, Carlo Ancelotti, who set the team up based on what he believed worked best, rather than simply following the board's preferences. Under Alonso, Vinicius Jr. didn't look the same as he did under Carlo Ancelotti. Alonso seemed to use Kylian Mbappe more effectively and was shaping the team around. But with Vinny's discomfort in that setup and his reported issues with the manager, it created tension that ultimately led to Alonso's exit. Let's be honest, many of the greatest players have had managers they didn't agree with at some point in their careers, but that never meant forcing the club into a decision like that. They had to deal with it, to work harder and earn their place or recognition. Complaining or threatening to leave is not the response, but improving on the field is. So now what for Arbeloa? There are reports suggesting that he could leave or is leaving at the end of the season, but honestly, he might just be the best fit in the club that the club has right now. Other rumors, names don't feel necessary. Even someone like Klopp, despite his experience and tactical quality, doesn't bring what Arbeloa does. That deep connection and understanding of the club's identity, that Real Madrid DNA. Real Madrid doesn't just need tactics, it needs that internal culture, that Real Madrid DNA. Arbeloa brings that. We've already seen glimpses of his approach in big matches against teams like Manchester City, Bayern Munich, Atletico Madrid, and so on and so forth, where he went head to head with top coaches and held his own. Even against Bayern Munich, the result was heavily influenced by the red card. Otherwise, things could have gone very differently, and we could have seen Real Madrid qualify into the semi-finals rather than the supposed winner of the Champions League. Keeping Arbeloa for the next season could be a very big test for him. With a full preseason, time to reassess the squad and potential transfers here and there, he'd finally have control to shape the team the way he wants, with less pressure and more time. It's also important to remember he stepped in mid-season, inheriting a squad in a situation he didn't build. So getting knocked out of the Copa del Rey in his first game isn't a fair judgment of his ability either, nor is it now. So overall, Arbeloa deserves a proper chance. If he's given a full season and still doesn't deliver results or silverware, then yes, questions can be asked. But right now, he should absolutely stay and be trusted to prove himself. There needs to be a clear change in the team's system. Back when Cristiano Ronaldo was at Real Madrid, the entire squad understood who the team was built around. And keep in mind, this was a team full of world-class, elite, legendary names. Luka Modric, Toni Kroos, Karim Benzema, Gareth Bale, Sergio Ramos, and more. Despite all that star power, all those legendary names on the field, there was one vocal point. And the team succeeded because everyone accepted their role and built around Ronaldo to maximize the team's performance and impact in their game. So before next season, if Vinicius stays, the squad has to make a decision. Are we going to build around Vinicius Jr. or are we going to build around Mbappe? Realistically speaking, it should be Mbappe. He's been playing out of position, yet he's the top scorer and consistently more effective, even when operating from the left-hand side. So why not fully commit to that? It's the same principle Zinedine Zidane applied with Ronaldo, and when Xabi Alonso seemed to be moving towards with Mbappe, even to the point of benching Vinicius. If ego keeps interfering and the manager keeps on becoming the casualty, then this era of Real Madrid risks going into a serious decline. That kind of instability only leads to long-term problems. From now until next season, and there are about 5 months to go, with the FIFA World Cup in between, after that, the club needs to make proper defensive signings, reinforce the midfield, and at the same time some players need to be moved on to make space for those who bring both talent and the right mentality. Florentino Perez is running out of time to shape this phase of the club. Now is the moment for him to step in, take responsibility, and make decisive changes within the squad instead of continuing to place blame on managers. This is my message to the whole footballing world. Real Madrid have gone 2 years without winning a trophy, but people are forgetting something important. This team is in a period of transition. There have been managerial changes and major shifts in the squad, and that has naturally slowed things down. We've seen this kind of phase before and with other teams as well. The difference is that now we don't have Cristiano Ronaldo to carry the load during the toughest times. Right now, this is one of the most weakest moments in Real Madrid's recent years, and the football world is enjoying it. But while others celebrate what they see as a downfall, Madridistas won't forget. People are quick to doubt Real Madrid and ignore the history, the legacy, and the weight of the badge. Even with poor form, constant squad changes, injuries, and the ongoing search for a right manager, the team has still managed to put up a fight. Take Bayern Munich as an example. They came into the game thinking it would be easy, that they could beat Real Madrid like any other team. You can even see it in their post-match interviews, the confidence, the smugness, the subtle disrespect. But they forgot something important. They haven't beaten us since 2012. Over more than a decade of meetings, Real Madrid has constantly come out on top. Often the biggest stages, winning major trophies along the way as well. So let them be reminded of who they are dealing with. This is Real Madrid, the biggest club in football history. Just because the team is struggling right now doesn't mean it will last forever. This is a phase, and like every phase before it, the club will rise again. With that being said, the real issue lies within the squad itself. The problem is the mentality. Right now the players don't look hungry. They look comfortable, driven by more pride and ego than by the desire to win. Saying the right things in interviews or apologizing after a poor performance is not enough. At Real Madrid, the standard is clear: performance and results. Players are expected to compete for and win trophies every single season, without exception. And even if it's a new era, that expectation has not changed and it will never change. This is Real Madrid. Hala Madrid. Vamos Madrid. I'll catch you guys all on the next one. Bye bye.